Darlington, Mont Clare. And I thought to myself, sounds interesting. And so I extended an invitation today, which he took me up on. And so I want to welcome you, KSR, to my channel and the chat, and just want to thank you for taking me up on that offer.
Yeah, no problem at all. Peace to the chat.
All right.
Everyone.
Okay.
So long story short, I had figured out that most of my family comes from Darlington, South Carolina. What got me started on this search anyway, of course my grandmother, she always used to tell me we had Indians in the family. And you don't really pay attention like that when you're a kid, you going to school or whatnot, you hear about them, and then you come back home or whatever and get all types of stories to bring back to the older generation or whatnot, but you don't really get to go in depth with it like that,
Yes. Yes.
So on my mother's side, like I said, the majority of the family is from Darlington, South Carolina. And I started doing a little bit of history on genealogy. I started doing genealogy, and I started trying to track our last name. Our last name is Wingate.
Okay.
So I started trying to track that.
Okay.
What that led me to was, I cannot put it. It led me to a group of brothers. I was basically trying to figure out who were these first Wingate in the Americas, pretty much.
Okay.
It led me to a family of about, I want to say 5 or 6 brothers.
Okay.
And what happened was they came in through Virginia, and one of them ended up going into Darlington, South Carolina.
Okay.
And I believe a few of them followed.
Oh, so you said Darlington, South Carolina?
Darlington, South
okay,
because
what I'm doing. Okay.
There's a couple of districts around there.
Okay, I wanted you to know. I don't know if you're looking at the live stream, but I am sharing a stream, my screen, and I did just put in Darlington, South Carolina, and I'm just going to the welcome page for Darlington, and I'm just going to leave that up. And if you see where you like me to possibly go into something there, just let me know, and I'll just be checking back and forth to see if we have any guests in the chat. Just so you know, I don't really I do this, the uploads and the lives, and I don't necessarily expect people to show up yet because I'm a very new channel, but I like to proceed because I know people take time out sometimes later to really go over and look at what's in the live feed, especially if it's not really long. So I just want you to know that I take this very seriously, and so that's why we're proceeding whether we have other people in the chat or not.
Okay.
Okay.
No problem at all.
So do you see the screen?
One second.
If you can't, it's okay. I'll tell you. I'll keep you up to date. And if you want me to look up something or show something, you let me know.
Okay, I'll tell you what. We can start with what can we start with? So I want to say within the last 10 years, it may have been a little bit more recent than that, they did an excavation right there in Darlington, South Carolina, and they've been finding, a bunch of artifacts, just a bunch of artifacts. And it kind of led me to, one second. Okay. But yeah, so like I said, I ended up checking online or whatnot. You may be able to find it on Google.
Okay.
Just look up Darlington, excavation or something like that.
Okay, what about Great PD River?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna pull that up and put that on the. I'm gonna pull that up and I'll just put that on the screen for a few minutes. But I want to get you back where you left off because I kind of stopped you. I want to just ask a few questions. So how long ago did you say that you began the journey of looking at your genealogy and looking at Darlington?
7 months. It's fairly recent.
Okay. Okay. And and how close are you to Darlington now?
I'm about, I want to say probably about 2.5 hours. I'm in North Carolina.
Did you? So you didn't know anything about Darlington before this? Before you started your genealogy search?
Nah, I did not.
Wow.
Long story short, my great grandmother passed away a few years ago.
Okay.
And I always wanted to, like I said, ever since my other grandma on my other side or whatnot. Sorry if I'm kind of babbling a little bit, but
no, it's perfectly fine. I think we're doing a great job. Okay.
But yeah, like I said, my grandmother on my father's side always told me that her mom was Indian and her dad was like Indian too.
Okay.
So, but she was still alive when my great grandmother on my mother's side passed.
Okay.
So anyway, I looked on her obituary and stuff like that, and I thought that she was from Darlington, South Carolina.
Okay.
And that's pretty much where I started at.
Okay. Those obituaries are the bomb, aren't they?
They are.
Yes.
They give you a good history of like at least 2 to 3 generations back.
Yes.
They give you a good description.
Yes.
So where did I leave off that? Sorry about that.
It's okay. Well, I was asking. I was just trying to get an idea of when you started your search, and just get a little more history. And so what I've gathered so far is that you're talking about your paternal side, and that your paternal great grandmother, before she passed on, had always told you that you all were Indian. And when she passed away, you used an obituary to look at some of her genealogy, and that's when you first came across Darlington, South Carolina.
Yep, that's right.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So when I started my genealogy, I started with her, of course. I went back probably about 3 or 4 generations, and everybody was in Darlington, South Carolina.
Okay.
That boosted my interest a little bit more, because I'm like, what were these people doing back then? You know what I mean?
Yes.
I try to go with like the whole slavery timeline and stuff like that, or whatever, the story we've been told and everything.
Yes.
And as I was going back a little bit farther, I was like, because with the slavery history and stuff like that, they say everybody moved around and getting sold here and there and here and there.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I said, if slavery was really how they say it was, how are my people in this area for 100+ years?
Right.
You know what I mean? Having families and everybody's farmers,
yes,
farm laborers and stuff like that.
Yes. Now, had you questioned? I'm sorry. I want to be careful not to disturb the story, but I also want to ask a few questions in between. And one of the questions I want to ask is, when did you ever doubt about being Indian, or you just never thought very much about it? You may have already said, but I want to clear that up. Did you know, just, that's what you were told, and so you knew that you trust, you had no reason to not trust that what your grandmother was saying was true, but it just didn't dawn on you? Or how did that go? What was that experience like?
Well, when I first heard her say that, I was probably about 14 or 15 years old, and at that time that's kind of when you're just now in school getting that history or whatever. So like I said, she'll say, or she'll tell me that her mom and her father had Indian in them and stuff like that, and you mainly bypass it because in school, they will tell you that, Africans mixed with some Indian, you know what I mean? So it's like, oh, okay, well, that means, I may have a piece of it, but it just, the way the story is told or whatever, you would just blow whatever they tell you off.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Cause you're getting the education, and you're supposed to trust the education you're getting, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So you just it's so right. So that what you're being taught is resonating with you more than what you've been told, because you're being taught this.
Exactly.
Yes.
And, it's every day, and you come home and you tell the stories and stuff like that, what you heard in school and stuff
Right.
like that, and they don't. A lot of once you come home with the stories and stuff like that, in a way, it kind of seems like, oh well, it's a lost cause, as far as going in depth with the history or whatever, with the real history.
Mm-hmm.
So, like I said, I'm sorry, I'm just.
Okay, well, I want to get back to I want to get back to the archaeological excavation. So when did you hear about the because now what I'm looking at here is dated as a staff report February of 2017, but the picture shows a archaeologist who was starting an excavation in 2013. So they've been probably working on this a lot longer than, of course, they've put out here. But so when did you become aware that they were doing an archaeological dig there?
That right there was actually here recently, within the past, I'd say within the past about 3 weeks.
Okay, so
I had saw that.
Okay. Oh wow.
Long story short, I've just been looking up like everything I can about Darlington, everything I can about that maternal last name, just everything. Like I said, the first trying to figure out who was this family that came here, because I know, or what I feel anyway, that of course we were named after people who we were doing business with.
Yes.
Who, you know what I mean?
Yes.
So,
right, sharecropping with. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I've just been looking up everything Darlington, everything Wingate, everything South Carolina.
Okay. Can you go ahead.
I was gonna say, once I saw that the whole excavation thing, it kind of did like a boom in my head. I said, this is what my
right.
My ancestors was. You know what I mean?
That's really amazing. It really is.
Yeah, it is. And also, on my father's side, my grandmother, who I've been telling you about, who was explaining the whole Indian thing. Her family is from South Carolina too.
Okay.
They're from Columbia, and they're from Columbia, and they're from Charleston, I believe.
Okay.
But like I said, just been looking up everything South Carolina. I may do a little bit better with questions, because I've been driving all day. I've been talking about this.
Okay, and this is this is not going to be. I'm hoping this will not be the last time. I'm hoping that this is going to be a interview and process that that we can do updates on. This is the kind of work that that I like to do, that I see myself doing in the future. As far as my giving back is to create a venue where people can come and talk and just share with us. And this is very encouraging. The types of ancestral research they've been doing, no matter how small the research is and no matter how large the research gets, that we continue to share this way. So we won't go for long here. I'll just ask you, have you thought about going down to the site? Because here on this website that I pulled up, this was in 2015 or 13 that they were saying that they were doing where you can come and you can visit. Yeah, and you can visit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and so I don't know about now, but there is a phone number here. You'll be able to go back and look at this. It's going to post right away, and all of the information that I'm seeing here will be on there. But I want to read. I want to read something. I'm reading it for the first time too with you, so I'm not sure what this is going to say. But I'm seeing terms like African American and different things like that popping out. So I'm just want to read a little bit of what this article says to you, and then we could try to wrap it up, and then let's plan, you know, another time that we'll get some feedback, because what I like you to do is go down there and do a little video and do a little picture taking, and come back to my venue here and share with us again.
I'm all about that.
All right. Well, let me read a little bit to you. Okay. So it says here, Darlington, South Carolina. The public is invited to visit the Johannes Kolb Archaeology and Education Project March 9th through the 14th and the 16th through the 20th at the Great Petey River Heritage Preserve. And it goes in 2,725 acre preserve in Darlington County, owned and managed by the South Carolina Department of Natural Resources. This is the 19th year of the archaeological investigation. Members of the public can volunteer to work at the site or visit it. That's really encouraging. So hopefully, you know, things like that still go on, and you may have a stake in that as well somehow. I don't know a lot about that, but that's interesting, and I think, you know, that's something to look forward to. If we can identify that this is where my family once was, then what rights do we have? Or, you know, would it be reasonable to look into what if anything we can do as a people, you know, like what could you do, because you have evidence that would mean that you would be entitled to, you know, to look at this stuff up close, more close than someone else just visiting. Okay, but I'm gonna read a little further. On Saturday, March 14th, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m., the public is invited to tour the excavations at the site. There will be a host of demonstrators at the site, public for the site for March 14th Public Day. I'm not sure what that is. The numerous time periods when people lived at the Kolb site will be represented, including 18th century Native Americans and European colonists, late 19th century African American sharecroppers, and demonstrations of primitive skills. So it sounds like they put on, you know, maybe we can find something, do a little research and find something about what the show is that they put on, because we know there are gonna be some hijacks going on. Would you agree?
Right, yeah.
Okay.
I agree.
Yeah.
Wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
Wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
Were you gonna read a little bit more? I was gonna say something.
No, I'll end it there. The rest is just information. They do have something else about the artifacts down below. I'm gonna leave that up while you finish, and I'll let you know, talk us out, and then this will be up, so it's, you know, sitting there to be readable for any, you know, for you and anyone else that wants to read more about it.
Okay. And like I said, I'm gonna say a few things or whatnot. I'm gonna go over a little bit of what I was talking with my brother about too, but I'm gonna keep it as short as possible.
Okay.
Number one, the hijack is real. I mean, you know, any brown person here, you know, back in those times or whatever, I say, like, you know, 1700 stuff like that or whatnot, they will always throw the African American in it. And just for example, with the whole, I can't remember if it's Lucy or Luzia. Found in Brazil.
Right, Luzia. Mm-hmm.
Once that archaeologist or craniologist, once he remade that person or whatever, and remade her as a brown person and stuff like that, what was the first thing they said? Oh, early African. You know what I mean? Africans, they basically say Africans were over here before Europeans. You know what I mean?
Right.
That doesn't make any sense. Now I'm gonna jump somewhere else really quick.
Okay.
Town Creek Indian Mound. There's a Town Creek Indian Mound in North Carolina.
Okay.
Right? It doesn't sit on the PD River, but I want to say it's close to the PD River, right?
Okay.
Darlington, South Carolina is supposedly where the PD tribe was.
Okay.
And Town Creek Indian Mound and where the PD Indians supposedly were in Darlington, South Carolina, or in that area. Supposedly they were possibly related. They were communicating. But if you go, if you check out the PD Indians, it's gonna take you. It's gonna tell you a little bit about in South Carolina, but it's gonna really take you to North Carolina.
Okay.
It's gonna say that they had a connection.
Okay.
Now, to anybody who's listening, to you also.
Okay.
Like I said, Town Creek Indian Mound. If you go to their page, they have a video on it.
Okay.
And I encourage everybody just to watch that video.
Okay.
It seems really. Go ahead.
I'm gonna make sure to drop a link. I'll go look for that page, or you can drop a link in the comments when we're done for that specific video.
I find it odd that you are not necessarily odd, just odd because of what we've been told, but I find it odd that in a lot of these, if you go check out a lot of these, museums, if you check out the websites, videos, like I was talking about with Town Creek Indian Mound and whatnot, they slick shots show a lot of brown people in these videos.
Okay.
And it's basically like they put it in our face.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
I feel like they put it in our face.
For sure.
But yeah, so I also went to a museum in South Carolina. Where was that? Columbia. I was in Columbia / Casey.
Okay.
CAYCEE. I went to a museum there, and just to be quick, it was full of Clovis period arrowheads, and just it went from the Paleo Indians to Clovis, and just those stages or whatnot. And the guy who was there, he said that all of the artifacts were real, and the person who owned, I believe, that particular museum, he supposedly found them all. And while I was there, he was the tour guide or whatever I say. He was talking to another person, and he was also saying that they had another site pretty much around the corner from where I was at, that they were finding a whole bunch of artifacts at some school down there in Casey, South Carolina. Casey,
can you you said was that C as in cat?
Yes, C as in cat, AY, C as in cat again with 2 E.
Okay.
Casey.
Okay.
And like I said, Casey is right next to Columbia or whatnot. Columbia and Darlington are probably not exact, but at least about an hour and a half away from each other.
Okay.
But yeah, I know I'm kind of bouncing a little bit, but now I'm gonna go to it's actually like a few questions I want to ask you if you don't mind. I want to see if what I say makes a little bit of sense, or the questions that I ask make a little sense.
Sure,
right?
We could do that. Okay.
Okay, so with the whole slave trade story or whatnot, we are told that first slaves came here in 1619, correct?
Yes, I've heard that before. I thought I heard something as early as 15 something, but that may be when Christopher Columbus supposedly actually came here. And I know he may have had some people enslaved with him. So that may have been the first account that I've heard of, that was supposed to be possibly the first event. But I think 1619 is correct. I could easily look that up. First slaves. Let me look that up now.
Okay,
yep, 1617 pops up.
16 what?
1617 pops up. And then yeah, and then I see something here that says slavery in America didn't start in Jamestown in 1619. So this is
yeah, I've heard that also. All right, so I want to go with this timeline real quick.
Okay.
Real quick. Let's do 1619 and what was I doing? 200 years. Let's say 200 years, right?
Okay.
1619 to 1819, right?
Okay.
Now, like I said, I've gotten back to family members. I've gotten back to, I want to say, at least 1780, 1790 in that area, right?
Wow. Okay.
Now, like I said, the people who I'm looking up are all farmers, farm helpers. They, they have children. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So this is what I want to get at. 200 years. Please tell me if this makes sense to you.
Right. Okay.
In 200 years, you enslaved 10 million people on boats with no engine.
Right. Right. No, that never made sense to me. No, that never made sense to me. My logic kicked in real early when I started hearing that kind of stuff. I was never convinced of that stuff. I always thought that just doesn't make sense to me. It just was not logical. I never, and until probably about a year ago, maybe a little more, when I began to look for like-minded people, because I was like you, curious about the, where are the people that my grandparents were talking about? Why didn't they ever take us there? And, now they're gone, and I'm, curious, and the older generations are, they're starting to pass on. And so I got curious, and I came to YouTube looking, and, just looking for genealogy groups and people who were talking the same way. And then that's when I started, really hearing other people say, this doesn't make any sense. And I was like, wow, I don't know if you just don't discuss it very much because you're being pushed, so much information is being pushed at you. But no, that's never made sense to me.
And honestly, it's somewhat hard to even have these conversations with people. A lot of people aren't really even interested. You know what I mean?
Yeah. They just very accepting of that. Well, that's what it is. They're convinced and not at all interested, like you said. I kept thinking, one of the things I kept thinking is, why would they do that? And it was, and they had people. Why would you go all the way over there when you have people here you could do that with? That's what I always thought.
And the people that were here are brown, because the people who came before, like Europeans and stuff, like French and Spanish or whatever, can we agree that they came before the Europeans?
Oh yeah.
Okay, now these French people and these Spanish people, the people they write about and draw pictures of and stuff like that, they always say these people are brown. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's you get the Tawny and Chestnut, you get what Benjamin Franklin said. You just get so many accounts of what people before the Europeans were saying about the people who were here.
Right.
And I want to say one, quick thing too.
Mm-hmm.
I'm 28 years old.
Okay, and that's really young.
The information that I have seen, the information that I have seen, and a little bit I figured out myself. I'm not like a scholar or anything. I don't got I don't have a lot of like books and stuff like that. I'm I'm on a couple pages of YouTube. I'm listening to the information. I'm
yes.
taking it in.
Yes.
And I'm doing research along, a little bit of research along with it.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't have to do much because it resonates. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So, like I said, I'm 28, and all this stuff has hit me like a ton of bricks.
Right.
You know what I mean? This is all I can talk about, think about. So I'm gonna jump back to the timeline really quick.
Okay.
1619 to 1819, 200 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you mean to tell me in 200 years you brought 10 million enslaved people here? You were fighting the whole time with Indians.
Right.
You had to teach the people you enslaved the language or whatever.
Right.
You have to teach these people that don't know anything about the land how to farm.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And also, I think it was one more thing. I ain't gonna hold myself up on
okay
right now, but all these things that you have to do in a span of 200 years.
Right.
And that just doesn't make any sense. How are you able to do all this? You're fighting a bunch of Indians.
Right.
You're going to Africa and picking up people.
Mm-hmm.
And then they tell you that the people that they're fighting against and the people that they're enslaving and bringing here, they ended up mixing a little bit.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And plus, they ended up, both sets of those people ended up mixing with the people that you brought here too.
Exactly.
Exactly. Like none of that stuff makes any sense at all. It was something else I wanted to get at. And I'm pretty sure, I'm pretty sure we'll get into a lot of it later.
Yeah, I'm sure too. Well, let me say this because maybe it'll come up with the other thing you were gonna say. You probably have looked at a lot of the same people that I look at regarding the people who are doing this research and embedded in this idea that we're gonna uncover these truths and expose these half and untruths altogether. And while I am doing what I'm doing, it is not, and that's one of the reasons why I don't like to. It doesn't matter to me if I have an audience. I just want to get this documented because sometimes you have the people who've been doing this for a couple of years, even a couple of months, and the people who are just waking up, they're so far ahead that in some of the platforms they're on for long periods of time, and it's not cataloged. So it's always, for me, it is always a place in bringing it back to a beginning of what someone's experience is, so that people who are just waking up can experience it in a way that you in a more amateur way.
That's actually the best way. That's the best way to do it.
Yeah.
Because once we start putting pieces together or whatnot, from this video right here, a couple more Darlington people may reach out.
Exactly.
Say, hey,
exactly.
You know what I mean? I got my family back in these times too, and then you put that timeline together, and you just start with the basics.
Yeah.
And let everybody join in on the basics.
Yeah.
And you just grow from there.
Exactly. And then a few months from this, someone else might, start up another beginning, because it has to continue to go back to a beginning, so that as people wake up, because everybody's not going to wake up at the same time. And I really like that part. Someone else may hear about this and listen to this, and it may be a connection that goes who knows how far, so I don't want this to be the last time that we talk about this. I want this just to be the first time. And so And so maybe, maybe we'll use the initial comment, and and we can just go back and forth until we have a pattern of until we set a pattern that we'll come back again, and what if you have some things that you meant to say, you jot them down, and we'll just go from there, and we'll just let this kind of naturally roll out.
I like that idea.
Good.
Next time I'm gonna definitely be more prepared. Like I said, I'm in the car right now, but I'm gonna definitely be more prepared next time. I have a few things written down and everything, and we'll get it going.
Yep, I appreciate it, and and then we'll have things like tonight as a recording to to bounce off of, and that's that's the beauty of having the ability to use the social media to record and use them for something positive like what we're doing here tonight.
Right.
Okay, so let me get you.
Go ahead.
You said that you wanted to ask. I don't know if you asked everything you wanted to ask me, or if you want to do a final closeout and we'll wrap it up.
Well, I put it like this. I heard somebody put a good idea out there that kind of resonated with me or whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
The person pretty much said that they wanted to, not necessarily, I guess, I don't know, maybe, just going around and asking a good, nice amount of people, brown people anyway. Have you ever heard that you have Indian in your family?
Yes.
In my opinion, I believe 90% of the brown people here are going to say yes.
Right.
And how is that? How is that?
Exactly.
How can the majority of these brown people here have heard that they had Indian in their family? We know about how back in the days and stuff like that, they weren't allowed to talk about it. You know what I mean? Like our ancestors weren't allowed to talk about anything Indian because they could. There'll be consequences or whatnot.
Exactly. And that's something I'd like to see explored too, because, we have a lot of stuff, a lot of conversation like that. And some people think that it's myth, but that's the truth, that there were consequences to pay. And I don't know if I've seen anyone put anything out about the consequences that people had to pay for saying that. I haven't seen anything, but I think that's a valid subject to explore.
I do too. And I guess last but not least, because Chad, to anybody who's watching, I'm sorry, I wasn't, as bad.
I think you did great. I think you did a wonderful job. You gave us a lot of information here to look at, to go, to spend some time researching, so that we can come back to this table with more information.
Right.
I think you did a great job. I do.
So I'm gonna go back to these brothers really quick. These Wingate brothers.
Okay.
Like I said, it was about. I want to say, and there's also Wingate, North Carolina, too. So, I looked that up and all that good stuff, too. But anyway, like I said, it was about 5 Wingate brothers. I believe they got to Virginia first. Maybe 1 or 2 of them ended up going to Darlington, South Carolina, as well as probably 1 or 2 more of them. Now, and these people were, this is mid 1700s, I want to say, something like that. It was pretty early on. So what the brothers did, I guess around this time, they were starting like businesses and stuff like that. Pretty much the family went all the way from South Carolina to Texas. One brother stayed in South Carolina in Darlington or whatever. One of them stayed in Georgia. They made this little trek, and they all started. They started their roots where they landed.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
I just want to let people know, not even just for Wingate, but just look into your surname.
Exactly.
Try to find out who, if not the first families of that name or whatever, just try to find out as early on as you can who these people were and what were they doing and what areas they
exactly.
were in.
Well, I want to tell you, so we have Love Legacy. Have you ever spoken with Love Legacy?
No, I've never.
Okay. I want to introduce you. He joined the panel just now. So I don't think you can see the chat, but I'm going to I'm just want to introduce Love Legacy. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm right here.
Peace and love. This is our guest KSR, and this is my first time meeting and speaking with KSR, and so I wanted to introduce you to him. So here he is. This is Love Legacy. He can't see the stream, but
okay.
But
you can hear me.
I think you've been listening in.
Yeah. What's up? Peace.
Not much, man. Not much.
All right.
Yeah, I hear you over here dropping it.
Did you want to say some things to him, Love Legacy?
Yeah, one thing is from everything that's been said, you made a good point. You said most of the people here is saying that they Indian. And when you actually go back and do the actual genealogy, you'll see it. But there was a lot going on, and I believe even in Virginia, it was illegal to say that you was indigenous. So that was and Virginia is a prime real estate to be trying to hide something. So we got a lot going on. Now I heard something about the was that I heard something about the doors roll. No, actually, I'm trying to think. Go ahead.
I haven't tapped into the roles that much. I haven't tapped into them. I've picked a few of them out. I've seen family surnames in there and stuff like that. But it's pretty tough getting back for me anyway. Past, like I said, 18, 20. You know what I mean? It's kind of hard getting back past that.
Yeah. That's the final hump that you got to get to. That's the final one you got to get to.
It really is. But what helped me a little bit though?
Mm-hmm. You said what?
These Indian wars, I feel like have helped me a great deal.
You gotta follow.
I'll get into it real quick. Somebody interject, if you can. Okay, so long story short, I have a family on both sides, right?
Mm-hmm.
One side of my family, like I said, everybody was in South Carolina.
I heard that part.
On one side of my family, there was a Mississippi migration or whatnot. Like a family member came from Mississippi or whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
And
where?
I want to say it was probably about early 1700s. I mean, not early 1700s, late 1700s or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And on the other side, I had a member from Alabama. Around the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Now I still have to do a little bit more research on it.
Well, late 1700s. If you caught them in late 1700s, and they Negro, Indian, mulatto, or maybe even white, to be honest.
Right, because I definitely.
You got to know the difference between.
And of course, color.
Yeah, when you look at it, if you see a black child with white parents or some weirdo stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? You gotta look into that. Definitely gotta look into that. But if you made it past the Indian removal and all of that, like 1800 and lower, you where you supposed to be. You where you supposed to be. You gotta find out who was in that area at the time, huh?
He said you pretty much cracked the case then.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Because all you got to do is match the surname, the location, to a tribe, and figure out which tribe it is. You might have 7 tribes in one area. So
Well,
then
let me
that's where.
I want to ask you something, love.
What's
Had you
up?
heard of Darlington, Mont Clare?
No, I think I've heard of Darlington. I don't know about Montclair.
Okay.
Montclair to me, I'm from New York, so Montclair to me would be out here.
Okay.
That's the only Montclair I know. But I
Where
think
you
I heard
say
of Darlington.
He's in New
But
York near Mont.
but you could go. Is that where the person that you found was at?
well,
KSR, is that where you
Darlington,
found, were they in Darlington, Mont Clare?
Darlington is the town, and it's also county. Montclair is like a, it's like a district. It's like a, it's in Darlington. It's like a district. If that makes
Oh,
sense.
okay. Okay.
Like,
So
like in, it's for some reason in South Carolina, like I said, it's you got the town, and then you might have a, what I
yeah,
mean.
yeah, I know what you're talking about. That's like yeah, yeah. I know exactly what you're talking about. But what year was the person born?
Okay, so
Just a roundabout.
as far back as I've gotten,
Yeah, the
Yeah, with a
person
with a
far,
nigga
far back.
with a Negro or Indian.
okay, so on my mother's side,
Like mulatto, whatever.
Darlington, South Carolina,
Mm.
they were, of course, everybody was Southern. The farthest I have gotten back, um, on one side is, I believe, 18. I would like to say between 1828 and 1830. And before them, on that side, is the Alabama migration.
Alabama, you about to get your ass, you about to get hurt in Alabama. I'm gonna let you know that right now. Right now. Let you know that right now.
And
As
one more
soon as you
time.
start going into Georgia and Florida, Alabama, Mississippi, Texas, yeah, it's gonna get crazy.
Right. And like I was saying, on my father's side, they were mostly in Columbia. The farthest I have gotten back is 1828. So I got back to 1828 on my father's side. The person who was born in 1828, I believe, well, it's a little bit difficult to explain. For now,
They didn't leave no will.
1828 in South Carolina.
Did you find a will?
And
He says, were you able to find a will, KSR?
Yeah. Can you hear me good, or I have to talk louder?
You might have to talk louder because he's on a conference call and you're on the panel.
Got you. Yeah. Did you find a will or probate? That's what you need. That's what you need.
heard of that before.
No,
I haven't heard of that before.
he hasn't heard of a will or probate for them yet.
Yeah. You gotta try to find a will or probate, a death certificate, a story.
Oh yeah, death certificate. Yeah, now death certificate is mainly what I've been getting.
Yeah.
That's mainly what I've been getting is death certificate.
Yeah, you gotta look for other stuff too. But also too, remember it's not how far. It's not really how far all the time either. But more than likely, it's how far. But it's not that far all the time. You could luck up and have somebody from 1900 that was on something.
What I have a question for you, KSR. What would you like to do with the information that you are finding?
Well, for starters, I would like to just get with the like-minded people and just simply talk. Just simply, you spit out some information about here, I spit out some information about there. We put it together, you know what I mean? And we just teach, you know what I mean? This
just build.
Ready to start learning about this stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's for your, it's for your you and your family and your loved ones. You know what I mean? And the people who resonate with the information.
Well, had you thought about a book?
Like making a book and things like that.
Yeah, for sure, your ancestry, your ancestry, but a book about the environment. Had you thought about maybe putting something together solid um, for your family?
Yeah, I have. Not like a. I mean, I don't know if you mean like like a written book or something like that. But long story short, I draw some pictures. I haven't really. I don't think I got my. I got a little bit of my genealogy and stuff like that written down in the book with a couple pictures I drew and stuff like that. Just certain little things to let you know that So I kind of blabbed on that one.
Love
but,
with love.
I do certain things, and I put certain things down in a book and stuff like that.
Okay, and like in a scrapbook type of way.
Stuff like that, yeah.
Love, what would you suggest? Love, are you there? He may have had to do something. He's not on mute, but he's not here. I was wondering what he might suggest. Because I agree with you. Just getting with like-minded people and talking about it, is gratifying. Love, did you have some suggestion about what people can do with the type of information as they're finding it? Regarding
what do you mean, far as the movement, or are you talking about just personal?
Both. So as people are becoming enlightened about who we really are or who they really are according to their family history, that their oral family history orally, and as they begin to see the truth about what they had been told, have you thought about like the types of ways that people can document this for their families, for the future generations? For example, writing a book, or heading up tribes that have been lost, things like that. Have you thought about what people might be looking forward should be looking forward to doing as they become enlightened?
Well, one thing I would say, if you want to leave something, then I would start just recording, writing. Man, well, right now the most important thing to me, I'm just being honest. People, I know people like, yo, I'm tired of him saying this, but man, the genealogy, the thing about the genealogy is that it don't end. If you really like it, you just gonna do it forever.
Right.
And you never know what you're gonna get. You never know what you're gonna get. You could go and find your tribe and then just say, oh, forget about it. But you don't know what you're gonna find in there. I think the most important thing right now is to honor the ancestors, honor God right now, and understand that we gotta be more verbal with each other, even with teaching one another, because people just don't care, man. It's to the point now that the outsiders, that's not us, they don't care, man. They don't care. So when everybody don't care, if everybody don't care, then you gotta. It's just basically like right now we just gotta try to live the best we can while we here, because they plan is devious.
Yeah.
I mean, it's to the point we so far gone that it's almost like we ain't even really mattering right now. You know what I'm saying? I'm just, me. I be keeping it official, bro.
Okay, KSR wanted to say something. Go ahead.
Sorry about that.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry about that, love.
Thank you, love.
And that's a little bit that's a little bit discouraging. I mean, you know, to me personally, that's a little bit discouraging that to that point you just brought up about, you know, people not really caring and stuff like that. So I just say this with them, you know, my journey or whatnot. I feel like learning this information and figuring out who you really are, who you really come from, it's a way of life thing to me. You know what I mean?
It is.
You know, everybody has their own. You know, we're all in our own body. We all have our own brain. You know what I mean? Everybody is, you know, in it for something different in a way. A lot of people are in it for the same thing, but you gotta know, you know, you gotta know within yourself first. So me personally, like I said, with the information I've seen and been learning and stuff like that, it turned into a way of life for me, I would say, because I just feel like once upon a time there were people here, you know, our ancestors. I just, you know, I just don't feel like it was like it's kind of difficult to say a little bit because, you know, with families are gonna fight or whatever, you know what I mean? People gonna have disagreements and stuff, but with our ancestors, I just believe that, you know, things were way more simple, way less drama.
Yeah.
You know, way more help, way more communication, way more love.
Yeah.
And knowing, you know, figuring out this information and everything like that, it just makes me want to go back to that. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, it's just, you know, it's a lot of BS out here. It's a lot of distractions out here. Learning, you know, seeing the information I see and learning stuff like that, it just makes me want to break away from all the distractions that I can and connect with, you know, with what we have, which is, you know, the earth and nature. You know what I mean? That's where we come from.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So pretty like, you know, I'm not really you know, I can see what areas these tribes were in, stuff like that, names and stuff like that. But me personally, I'm not really into going back to a particular tribe, right? You know what I mean? What I'm into is, like I said, knowing this information and stuff like that, taking it in, you know, trying to debunk myself. You know what I mean? I feel like, you know, the information I learned, I feel like it's undoubtable. You can't refute it.
Right.
Brown people were here, and that's where we descend from.
Right.
And you know, that's just my take on it now. So it's like, you know, I just it's crazy. It's crazy.
No, I get it. I totally get it. And you know, that I think, you know, we're gonna have different ways, you know, that we'll want to go depending on, you know, what our personalities are like. Just talking about it, just finding like-minded people, which you said earlier, and talking about it and encouraging each other, as love always does, to, you know, to do the genealogy and continue to network like we're doing here tonight, and then just kind of see, you know, how things roll out, you know, what we're going to do with this information. Are we going to you know, meet up and you know, try to understand more about nature and spend time there trying to connect with our ancestors in some ways and honor them in some ways by going back to a more natural, simpler way of life.
Yeah, that's exactly where I'm at with it. That's
okay.
Exactly where I'm at with it.
Okay, so, you know, we've been on for about an hour and 15 minutes. So I do want to close, but I want you to have a final say. I'm going to close out. I want to tell you thank you, Love, for joining the panel. I really appreciate that. And that, you know, I'll say that we're going to look for a next time really soon, in which I will put together, where we'll maybe get together a time, and then I'll post ahead of time when that's going to be, and we'll continue this conversation. So I'm going to let you close out, and I'm going to end the broadcast.
Okay. Well, I just want to say to everybody who's out there doing research, and everybody who's out there listening to other researchers, just keep in mind that once upon a time things were way more simple. Our people were working. They were working with each other. A lot of our people were working with each other, and that's what we have to do now. And, like we said earlier, just go back to being natural. That's your answer there. Go back to being natural. Break away from all the distractions you can, and the more you do that, to me personally, the closer you'll be with your ancestors. They will, they'll talk to you. So at the end of the day, like I said, just keep doing research. Empress, I definitely appreciate you having me on the on the panel.
I appreciate you taking me up on that invite. I do.
Yeah, no problem at all. I look forward to the next one. And everybody, do your research. Shout out to you too. Pleasure meeting you also.
Pleasure meeting you. Hey, I wanted to if I could, Empress, get a little plug.
Oh yes, please do.
I'm gonna shorten it because I know you gotta go.
Okay.
But yeah, so basically one of my ancestors, they went and fill out an application to go to be in the Dawes role. Says to the Honorable Dawes Commission of Citizenship and the 5 civilized tribes in Indian Territory. So it goes down and it shows one of my people, Boone, who was related to a Richardson that were said to be Cherokee Indians. Then it goes down some more and talks about Nation of Indians and how other people, basically the same family, said to be in the tribe. Then it goes down and says A.B. Allen, being sworn according to law, says that he is well acquainted with Boone, that he has lived in the same neighborhood with said Boone, and he is known among his neighbors and is recognized as a Cherokee Indian by blood, and this affiant has always so believed. His personal appearance shows very decidedly that he is of Indian extraction. He is kin to Richardson, who are known to be Cherokees by blood. Now, let me tell you this. These ain't no Cherokees.
Okay.
These people are suing. Before they were suing, they were Tuscarora.
Mm-hmm.
So I just want to let y'all know, when our people said there was Cherokee, different stuff like that, you don't know what was going on at the time. A lot of Catawbas and Sioux, they was trying to kill us all. The Cherokees, the Choctaw, all of that. So a lot of people out here saying they Cherokee, like Warhorse said, you better see what's in that stew.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Because he ain't no Cherokee. I'll
Mm-hmm.
tell you that right now.
Okay.
So I just wanted to drop that real quick. I had more that I could have read, but I know the time is low.
Well,
And I think
I hope to have you back again too. We don't have a time set or anything, but
yeah.
Maybe we can plan out something so that we can build on this. That we can build on sharing information here, like you're sharing with us right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So people need to go look. People need to go look, and one thing about, you don't necessarily have to tribe up, but you should do what your ancestors did, right? That's the whole point. So in order to do what your ancestors did, you got to see who they were to figure out how they lived and what they did. Because you could be just a Narragansett, right, and walking around with some designs from Phoenix,
Mm-hmm.
some tribe in Phoenix.
Mm-hmm.
So Yeah, you got to be careful with that. You know, that's just my advice.
Okay. So that sounds like it would mean um, digging, finding out who you are, doing your ancestry, getting back as far as you can, exploring the areas that your ancestors were in and what those tribes in those areas, who those tribes were, and what those tribes were like.
Hmm.
Have some suggestion as to um, how to trust or how to, for example, find uh, those tribes that may not be federally recognized, but that you may find traces of them and how a person can get back to the practices of those tribes
Hmm.
or ways to
Oh.
honor those or ways to honor their ancestors. If there's some trusted information that you could suggest people can find about the tribes that are not recognized.
One thing I could tell people, man, people go to Ancestry, Family Search, all these different things. Google is your friend.
Mhm,
Google is your friend. You'll be surprised. You could find books on your family if you just Google it.
mhm,
You could actually go to Wikipedia and look up tribes in the United States, and they should have a list down there of different tribes that are unfederally recognized. You could Google that unfederally recognized tribes, unrecognized tribes, and go look up that, and then you'll go down a long list. They'll have a long list down there of all those tribes. Once you see who was in the area at the time, and look at and match the surname with the tribe at the time. It's
mhm.
not always easy, but somebody on that tree is waiting for you.
Okay.
Trust me, you'll be surprised.
Okay. Well, I know the next time we meet back again, I look forward to hearing more about the Peavy tribe.
Mm,
That's the
Yeah.
tribe that came up tonight
mm.
from the area that KSR is researching.
See who they was fighting.
I
Find
wanna,
out who they were fighting.
I wanna,
But all right.
Okay,
I wanna.
KSR wants to say something.
Mm-hmm.
Go
I'm
ahead.
sorry. I'm
It's
sorry. I'm
okay.
sorry. There was the Indian slave trade was before this so-called transatlantic slave trade, right?
Okay. You're asking? Are you asking?
Yeah,
Look,
I'm asking.
do you have
Can
the
we
answer for
agree?
that?
Oh yeah.
Know,
Ye- yeah, but I think it happened because we got to think everything was commodity still, you know, and it wasn't so much like our people were poor like that, but you know, pride, you know, power, etc. So, you know, we can't, that's why I get kind of pissed off when I see, you know, people sitting around acting like, you know, blowing flutes and shit, acting like we was the best people on earth. Everybody different. We know that now. They was calling us savages, but look how people move now. The one, you know, the bad ones or the quote
Right.
unquote bad ones,
Right.
you know. So we was wild. We always been wild Indians. We territorial and all of that. So you know, you had few tribes that you know, from what I see, you had few tribes that was really on it like that. You know, so
Did, was
if you
that
could
was that your
kidnap
question?
if you could kidnap the princess, the quote unquote princess of this tribe, the daughter of the chief,
Hmm.
you know what I'm saying? You know, it's fair game.
Hmm. Exactly.
right, right.
Was that your
Basically, what I
question?
was going to get at, uh, basically what I was going to get at was, yeah. So I was saying about the whole, the Indian slave trade and the transatlantic. I feel like the Indian slave trade is, somewhat of the real story, or, the Indian slave trade I feel was told by the people who came before the Europeans, like the French or Spanish or whatever. I feel like um, those people in their stories and their descriptions are to be trusted more than the European. I feel.
I do too.
And it follows if you go back and you can if you go back and you check their history and what they were talking about, like I said, the Spanish and the French or whatever. If you go back and check their history, look into the wars. Look into the wars. Look into where the wars were fought. Look and tie that into what they said the people look like in that area. Just, it's a couple things to tie in, but definitely check with that Indian slave trade and check with those wars that they were talking about. Even check with the whole Indian on Indian wars or whatnot. You know what I mean? Just check all that stuff out and just try to put your pieces together. And you can do it. You can do it.
Well, I want to just thank you both one more time. We're gonna try to. Well, I'm gonna try to end the broadcast now. And again, thank you both. I want to encourage everyone out there the same. And I'm going to look forward to a next time very soon where we'll hear more about the PD tribe, I'm hoping, and possibly have a opportunity soon to hear that you've gone KSR and checked out those some of those sites, some of the excavations, and just a little more update about what's going on with that, if that's fair.
Yeah, that's definitely something I want to make happen.
Okay.
Once again, appreciate you, and peace to love, and peace to the chat, peace to everyone who's going to be listening to this.
Thank you.
No problem at all.
Okay.
Everybody have a good night, all right?
All right. Good night.
All right.
Good night. Okay, so I'm signing off. I'm going to just do one thing, and that is I'm going to play that intro on the way out.